Welcome to another Patchogue-Medford library tutorial. Today we're going to be making do-it-yourself lava lamps using vegetable oil, water, and an Alka-Seltzer tablet. These are going to be all the ingredients you're going to need. Note that you do have to supply the vegetable oil that will be needed for this, but other than that, everything else should be inside the kit. The glitter is optional. However, if you have glitter or sequins, you may want to keep them around as an optional ingredient. The first step is to fill up your container 3/4 full with vegetable oil. You do not have to use exact measurements here, you can eyeball it. So I'm going to pour 3/4 until right about here. Next, we're going to fill the rest of the jar with water. Now, while this settles, let's take a second to take a look at this. Oil and water have different densities from each other. So all the bubbles that are going to the bottom is going to be the water, and everything on top is going to be the oil. This is because these two substances have different polarities, forcing them to not interact if possible. This is a good time to add in the extras. Our do-it-yourself lava lamp will work with just this, however we want this to be colorful and bright. So I'm going to start by adding some drops of food coloring. Next I'm going to add some glitter. You can also use sequins like I said before. And I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. Now an interesting thing to note here is that the food coloring we put in is only going to color the water at the bottom. It's not going to color the oil over here. Now, when we put in our Alka-Seltzer, which we're going to crush up into small pieces, we need to also realize that the Alka-Seltzer is only going to cause the carbon dioxide reaction only in the water. The water is actually going to be doing not only the coloring here, it's also going to do the bulk of the reaction. However, the vegetable oil is still going to not mix with the water. So as you see here, I have an Alka-Seltzer tablet that's broken up into pieces. I'm going to add them one at a time. Let's see what happens with our first tablet. Okay, there we go. We're starting to see a lot of bubbles almost instantly. We're going to keep adding these tablets slowly once each reaction stops. So once these bubbles stop, I'll put in the next one. Here's after I put in 3 or 4 chunks. Here's after all the chunks are in. And as you can see, we have a huge reaction. I'm going to close the lid. So I put the lid on my jar. You don't need a lid for this, but as you can see, it's doing things. If I tilt this over real quick, let's see if it does something else. But as you can see, the moment I tilt it, we got all these really cool bubbles, and we have this really awesome reaction going right here. Alright, and that should do it for your tutorial. Feel free to experiment with this, add different glitter, add different effects. This is a very easy to replicate experiment, and shows how the different polarities in different substances can cause things to be separate even when they're thoroughly mixed. You can still see little bits of water over there inside of the oil. They're not mixing together. Anyway, thank you for watching and enjoy making your own.